How is everybody doing today? Another Friday jam session coming to you live from the Orange Nomad studios. Say hello in the chat if you are here. I see some folks lurking out on LinkedIn and YouTube. That's where we're streaming today. Say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. It's our Friday decompression session. I got a little bit of a rant today, so you might want to stick around for this. If you do any type of marketing and you are an MSP, got a small little rant for you today. But we're also going to talk about some cool stuff, so yeah. Say what's up in the chat. Let me know you're here. If you have never seen the Do What Is Necessary live stream, my name is Andrew Moon. I run a company called Orange Nomad. I turn underdog entrepreneurs into calm, unstoppable CEOs. And this is part of the things we started in 2023 because I just think everything is just too daggone serious.
It's just way too serious out there. So this is a chance to decompress, have some fun, and listen to some jams.
Anyway, a lot of people I missed last week. I apologize. I woke up with a migraine, but I was kind of surprised that I got a message on Saturday from somebody who listens to the show after the fact while he catches up in the office on Saturday. It said, "Hey, man, what up with the show? Where was the show yesterday?" So, got some people that actually like this format. So, I'm happy to explore this format, talk, meet people. And like I said, this is my chance to decompress at the end of a week as we wrap up yet another work week. Last week of February, man, that is absolutely nuts to me that it is the end of February. So welcome, Danny Chaplin says good morning, and just probably evening for you. He is in Nottingham, England. So welcome. Glad to have you with us, my friend. This is also a live Q&A. So if you have questions about marketing, about sales, about ClickUp, about Canva, like anything and everything about running a business, I will do my very best to get an answer for you, but this is a format where, like I said, I just teach a few things. We hang out for a little bit on a Friday, answer some questions, some burning questions that you might have. So I got a few more joining us on LinkedIn. So if you're a LinkedIn lurker, say hello in the chat, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're here and where you're tuning in from. We always get a strong UK contingent, which is awesome. But yes, if you have any questions, just type in the letter Q : and ask your question. And like I said, I will do my best to answer whatever questions come up in the chat. So I'm going to bump the volume down a little bit and just cover something that came up this week. Beginning of the week, I can't believe I turned 49 on Monday. Spent the morning at the doctor's office. So yeah, what's up with that? So Robert Gibbons, my man, hanging out with us. As always, thank you, Robert, for supporting the show. And again, this is time to chill out, get some of the questions answered. Thank you, Robert, for joining us on the Not an MSP show this week, filling in for the gigantic shoes that are Richard Tubb. But yeah, glad to have you on the call tonight as well. Let's see here. Jason Carlton joining in. I know I see a few more people joining us over there on LinkedIn who might be hiding. So anyway, say what's up in the chat. We're glad you're here. Like I said, this is our chance to decompress together on a Friday afternoon / evening for those of you who are in the UK. But I did want to talk about something that has come up recently. Before we go, Robert said he's only a size 4 shoe, so he's dropping the zingers, man. Anyway, yeah, Richard's glad Glad to have you with us again this week, Robert. We answered lots of questions. This was our Ask Us Anything show this last week. But I get questions a lot on marketing, so I'm just going to switch screens here. Turn this off, turn this on. And just kind of where this little semi-rant is coming from. My wife got a cold email message from an MSP this week. And I have no idea where he got her email address. It's her business email address. She's never signed up for a lead magnet from this company, not connected to them on LinkedIn. So I was quite surprised that she got an email this week from him, not one, but two, trying to sell managed services. And I was kind of bummed when I saw it because, anyway, I get a little irate with spam, and I'm sure you are too, because, what he did was completely illegal. She never signed up to be on his list or receive any type of communications from him, so I was curious as to where he got her email from. But the other kicker here is this was actually a franchise MSP. A franchise MSP that is supposedly providing lead generation and marketing for marketing training, especially for these companies. And I'm not going to name names. I was thought about putting it up on screen, but I won't because there's a few identifying markers in there. But I was just surprised. I was surprised, but yet I'm not. But I want to talk a little bit about bottom of the barrel marketing. I had a chance to interview Scott Stratton, who wrote the book on marketing last year. And this is a concept he went through talking about the hierarchy of marketing. And like I said, this just kind of is a semi-rant, but I see a lot of this, the copycat marketing going on. I see a lot of the same campaigns being sent out, a lot of the same messaging being sent out. I've been out of the MSP game for almost 10 years, and I still see the same emails and the same letters being sent out, same social media posts. It's just maybe it's a different hack but just the way of selling managed services needs to change. It needs to stop. But if you look here on the screen here, and again, I'll drop a link to Scott's book. But I bought Scott's book on marketing in 2009 when it first came out, and it really gave me a different take on marketing especially when I looked at the hierarchy of marketing. When you look at the top of the triangle, if you will, and I'm going to roll through what these are one at a time. But unfortunately, a lot of the marketing gets done at the bottom, and that's why I call it bottom of the barrel marketing. That's the cold calling and that kind of stuff. But let's just talk about, again, just the hierarchy of marketing and where your better use of your marketing dollars should be spent. And again, this is Scott's reference, and I can speak 100% to the facts of this marketing paradigm that he introduced me to in 2009. The first, again, I'm going to go back there so you can see it. So the top of the pyramid here is your current satisfied customers. And a lot of MSPs, and we've gotten Robert, you and I joined on this. We had a long discussion with Robert a couple weeks ago about maximizing the revenue that your current clients are spending with you. But we always forget that. We always are looking for that net new. We got to have more leads. We got to have customers, new. But we never take the time to often check in with our current customers to make sure they're satisfied and looking for ways to solve problems for them, even if you're not the one to provide the solution. But a lot of people, and again, that's why it's the top, because that's the easiest way to generate revenue. It's the easiest way to get more business for your company is your satisfied customers. So the next level down in that rung is being a trusted source for education. And that's the first thing we do when we need something. We ask people that we trust. So think about that as how many people are in your network where they think of, I need IT services, where you're the first person out of maybe someone that they trust somebody else's mouth? Are you on the tip of the tongue when somebody asks for recommendations for your service? And then the middle of the rung is maybe you have a current relationship with somebody, a prospect. Maybe it's somebody you hang out with on LinkedIn, have had conversations with. Maybe it's potential clients that you're building that know, like, and trust factor with, and maybe they're just not ready to buy yet. How much time do you spend educating them? How much time do you spend, building that know, like, and trust factor? Because the key is when they need your service. They might not need it now, but they might need it 2 years from now. And that's where a lot of your marketing efforts should be started, is building that know, like, and trust, because you don't want people doing random searches for out on the internet. You want to be the recognized expert. And as you build your platform on social media, as you do content curation, providing helpful tips like I do on this show, and I provide just tons of free content because I want to be the recognized expert in certain fields, being able to help people, the go-to person. Because random searches where somebody just jumps on Google and searches for IT support, they're probably not going to land on the best person for the job necessarily. Generally, people who are doing random searches, and again, this is my personal experience, are searching on price. That's the huge deciding factor for them, is that's how they determine which one to go with. They just go right down through Google searches and start randomly searching for people, and then you end up with that price conversation over and over again. But this is where I see most folks, and again, I'm going to drill on this and have a semi-rant on this just because of the experience that I had this week. And again, I see some more folks joining us over on LinkedIn, so say hello in the chat if you have questions. Put those in the chat. Say hello. Tell us where you're coming from, where you're tuning in from. But a lot of people that are getting new into business, or maybe they haven't done marketing for a while, and they feel like this is the easiest route to get potential prospects. They start here with cold outreach. How many of you have been pitch slapped on LinkedIn, where you connect with somebody and you immediately get a sales pitch? So it's that cold calling is the same thing. I hate cold calling. I hate doing it, and I hate receiving a cold call. And if you're a business owner, people probably feel the exact same way. But a lot of people think that, okay, I'm going to go buy a list, or I'm going to connect with people on LinkedIn and start spamming them and start cold calling them and cold messaging them. And that's a horrible way to do business, and it ends up with a horrible result. Like this instance, the email my wife got today. I would never recommend that person. I don't even know them. But if you can't take the time to even know whether or not my wife's business is a fit for you, my wife's a photographer. She has a photography business. Nothing in his email said that I went to his website. Nothing on his website says that he serves the photography market. So it's just that buckshot approach, hoping something sticks to the wall, and spamming people is not the way to do it. So think about it. Companies encourage this because it's low cost. It's free. You can, it's dirt cheap to go buy a list. But what's the cost of annoying 99 people in a row to talk to somebody who might be interested in your service, but there's no like and trust factor there, and the only thing that they have to settle on is price. So this was my reaction when I get these emails. So when people spam me on LinkedIn, they spam me in emails, and I get a ton of those where people scraped my email off of LinkedIn and start cold spamming me. How many of you in the comments have had that this week? I pretty much guarantee you somebody has had that happen to them this week, and probably multiple times. So again, think about the experience that looks like. And here's a message, a screenshot that I took of somebody who that I saw as a MSP marketing expert. He posted a video about how cool it is to have software that could scrape contact information off of the web so that they can do that cold outreach. And this is a message from a CEO that posted, that I'm connected to, that had that happen to him. And this was his message. If you use a scraper to pull my information off the internet in order to contact me in an effort to quote unquote work with me, I promise you that it is only going to make me say no faster. It's invasive, it's unnecessary. There are plenty of other ethical ways to build a truly authentic relationship with a business, but it starts with trust first. You simply become part of the noise in the background, focus on relationships first, and recognize you don't need to work with everyone. That is from somebody that you may be trying to reach on LinkedIn using those tactics. That is their exact words. There's no trust. It's annoying. It's evasive, but we still see it. We still see it. And again, this is the reaction that you're giving your potential prospects. They're likely not going to do business with you using those cold outreach tactics. And this one right here is from an MSP in an MSP group talking about those same type of tactics from maybe vendors in the MSP space. And this was their reaction. Said, how annoyed are you when you start getting emails from companies trying to get your business? We all know how annoyed blank is, so I'm wondering how annoyed the rest of you are. We're going to start email marketing, and I'm wondering if I should worry about expletive people off or not. Thanks. So that is somebody who hates having spam messages sent to him or her, and yet they're wanting to know if it's a good idea to turn around and do that to their prospects.
Please don't do it.
That's all I can say. Grab the book on marketing. Like I said, this isn't a sales pitch. I don't make anything off of it. Scott's book was absolutely phenomenal. He just updated the book as well. So think about where you're spending your marketing efforts. And if you're spending your marketing efforts on the bottom of the barrel and you're getting nothing, I can promise you, you're going to run out of money or you're going to run out of business swimming at that bottom of the barrel. So I'm going to get off of my soapbox for now. That's my rant for the week on marketing. But if there's anything that, if you've got comments about that, if you've got questions about marketing, I see a bunch more folks just joined us on LinkedIn. Say hello in the chat. Let me know what questions you have about marketing, about business, about anything. I'm going to take a quick drink, turn up some jams, and then we'll kind of move on to whatever you folks want to talk about. I did get a couple more questions this week that I was hoping to answer, but if you have questions and you're hanging out with me live, thank you. But yeah, drop those in the comments over on YouTube or LinkedIn, wherever you happen to be. I do get questions a good bit on the streaming setup. So if you want a behind the scenes look, this is the behind the scenes of my streaming setup. It's just part of it over here. But yeah, if you have questions about video, about live streaming, happy to answer any questions. So the common one that I get, I probably get this a couple times a week. What stuff that I use for our live streams. You're wondering where the music is coming from. That is Epidemic Sound. So we're piping that right through the Rodecaster Pro, which covers all of the audio for all of these live streams, all of my courses, all of the videos that I do. But yeah, if you've got questions about how to do live streaming or video, happy to answer any of those questions for you as well. Also have a top-down shot if you want to see what's on my desk, how I run things. Happy to answer any of those questions. So we're probably going to make this one a little shorter today because we do have office hours coming up for those folks that are our Team Orange members. We've got office hours coming up at 2:30 today. I had to bump it up a half hour just because I have a few things to do this afternoon. I got someplace to be at 5 o'clock, and I got about an hour to get there. I did want to also point out, if if you saw my LinkedIn channel this morning, I did do a episode with Synchro MSP, talking all about how to run a lifestyle business and all about why that's unfortunately still looked down upon in the MSP industry. So I jam on with Jennifer Tribe, who came over from Avik. She's now with Synchro MSP. And check out her podcast as well, Workflow for MSPs. But yeah, I got a nice episode with her that just dropped this morning. Always like reconnecting with Jennifer. She's good people. But yeah, definitely check out her new podcast that I think she just started that at the beginning of this year. But it's an effort she's got going with Synchro MSP is where she's at now. Yeah, while I'm there, I'm going to cut back over there. This was a LinkedIn poll that I did, put it up yesterday. Have you ever done a lunch and learn event for your business? So if you're tuning in live, drop that in the comments whether or not you've actually ever done a lunch and learn for your business. Or if you have no idea what a lunch and learn is, that's fine too. Put that in there. We can talk about that. But it kind of came up a little bit on the Not an MSP show this week, so I figured I would just poll my audience over on LinkedIn. I've got 4,000 folks have seen that and 144 votes so far. So far, 69% of the folks have done a lunch and learn before. 19% have never done a lunch and learn, and 11% have actually they've thought about it, but not pulled the trigger on it. So just curious if you happen to be watching this on the replay. So Robin, if you happen to be watching this on the replay tomorrow, drop that in the comments for me too. I always check these comments even after the fact. But yeah, lunch and learns were a great way for me is running an MSP to generate business and to educate multiple people at once, similar to what we're doing here. Absolutely loved lunch and learns. It was kind of nerve-wracking the first couple that we did, but once we put a process around it, it did get much, much easier. So I was super happy once we started seeing results. Once we got that systematized, it became easier the more that we did. So did get a comment over on LinkedIn. Danny Chaplin says, when getting contract signed, would you design likes of DocuSign or wet signature in person signed, or a quote that is signed by an email link? I get the rest of your message here too, Danny. So I get cut it off at the bottom. Get my mouse to stop working. Just give me a second to make sure I get all of your question in there. It looks like it cut off the bottom of it. Yeah, what is the most legally accepted for MSPs? Location may differ. So yes, that's a good question. I definitely did digital contract signing when I ran my MSP. All of my contracts were done. It was EchoSign at the time, which is now Adobe Sign. But yeah, we used that extensively. Like that was what all of our contracts were done with. That way they get a copy of it. Again, I don't know what the UK regulations are, but that has become a perfectly accepted, legally binding agreement, especially with, the bigger players like Adobe. I think DocuSign is another one. Yeah, those are legally binding agreements. We did a lot with attorneys. Never had an attorney have any qualms, with that at all. But yeah, we use EchoSign. The great thing, I'm going to give you one caveat too there, Danny, as well. One of the things that we did at the end there of our contracts was a credit card ACH form. And that was one of the things that became invaluable. A lot of, people still don't have their customers on auto pay. But we found very early on, I think we started doing that in like 2007, that the very last page of the contract was ACH credit card form where they could not completely echo sign. They couldn't finish the signing that contract without filling that out. And I never had a single complaint about that in 10 years running an MSP. But yeah, it's a great way to get any last minute issues fleshed out. It's a great way it's just your standard operating procedure is they can't sign the contract until they fill out the credit card ACH form. And we did the ACH first. If the ACH didn't work, we ran their credit card. So we always got paid on time. But that is a super important thing to do for sure is, do the digital signatures. Robert said, yep, he uses Zomentum to do that. Again, those guys weren't around. I probably might be using them. I had all the Adobe Creative Suite stuff way back. So again, I used EchoSign since, I think it was 2006, 2007 when we did that. Jake Hayden, hey, thanks for hanging out with me today, Jake. Jake says DocuSign is a leader in the space for much of EMEA. I know Jake does a lot of business over in the UK. So I think you might be safe over there, Danny. Danny said, the issue I see if I can send an email as an MSP, they could say, trying to understand your question real quick. Danny said, issue I see if I send an email sign as a MSP, they could say you're being the MSP have access to the PC/mail service, etc. Yeah, again, I'm not super. They could say, yeah, again, because it's coming from a third-party service. Like, I'm not sure they could. Yeah, I'm not sure they could really say that. Look at his other message disappeared on me. They could say that you have access to the PC mail service. Again, if you want to clarify that for me, Danny, appreciate that. Again, that's going to be completely separate. EchoSign, at least, I'm pretty sure Zomentum is the same way. The contracts are generated through Zomentum, sent out digitally signed, and then that comes back, and that would either, like for us, that sat in our our EchoSign account, our Adobe Sign account. And then they got a PDF, a signed PDF where both parties signed it. Yeah, so those are pretty legally binding now. It's become much more accepted now, but we were using them, 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, make that part of your process for sure, Danny, is, get the folks on the digital signature. And typically what I did, just kind of going back to that as well, when we had our presentation meeting and a customer agreed to sign on with our services, we went through our whole, network assessment and giving them our recommendations. And if they decided to move forward with us, basically what I would do at that point is I would open up a tablet. I had a letter of intent ready to go for them. And then they would just digitally sign the letter of intent. And then they would get the EchoSign. I just told them what was coming next. You get a digital, something from EchoSign. You would just digitally sign that, fill that out, and then we get the onboarding going. So, let's see here. Yeah, Danny said, Jake Hayden, thanks. Have used DocuSign, Adobe, and ConnectWise Sell, as well as Wet Ink, but looking for the best legally accepted. Seems DocuSign is the way to go. Most seem to be using it in EMEA. Yeah, again, I'm sure Adobe would be. Adobe's actually been around a little bit longer, I believe, than. Well, they've been around a long time anyway, but the Adobe Sign part's been there for a while. But yeah, if you've got any issues with that, Danny, let me know. But that is a great question. But so if you've got questions like that, drop those in the comments. Again, it looks like we got quite a few more people that have joined us live as well. Happy to answer any questions on that line. second. I'm going to go over here and check YouTube real quick here. Nope, no other comments coming through over there. Nobody wants to take a stab at the lunch and learn. I know Robert did reply to our online survey, says he's thought about it. And I'm curious, Robert, if you're still hanging out with us. I hate to put you on the spot here. What would be the number one thing that it stops you from doing a lunch and learn? I'm always curious to think about that. Like I said, for me, it was nerves. Trying to figure out how to do it for the first time, but I'm all about checklists, and everything we started doing was checklists and repeatable process. That's what I was all about. Jake just asked a good question. We'll flip back over here and leave that up. Robert just sat on the sofa with a beer, so he's ready to go. Yeah, Jake said, what's the biggest thing you have learned about time management? For me, I would say the biggest thing I learned about time management, it's funny because it's changed as I've gotten older. I'm less concerned about time management as opposed to energy management. I'm all about managing my energy and making sure that I do the things that I have the energy to do, just keeping track of what things suck the energy out of me. So that for me is just really, I've kind of gone and planned my week. That's why I kind of do these on Fridays, because I'm excited. A lot of people are ready for the week to be over. I'm excited to get the weekend going. Got things to do, sun's out. But yeah, that's why I started doing these on Friday. I have a little more energy on Friday. But I would say batch processing tasks has probably been the biggest thing that I've learned about time management. Is just looking at my calendar and doing things in batches rather than, task switching. Because for me, like when I do creative work, that takes a different part of my brain than doing tech support and trying to fix things or working with, gear and setup here in the studio. So I tend to find that I do those in batches. Like when I sit and record content, I will generally do those in, have one day or half a day scheduled to do those. And I always find that works out easiest because I get it, in the mood, I'm in the zone, I'm able to get things done. Like Thursday afternoons, are more my task management. I, do website updates, update my Stream Deck, just fiddle around with processes, that kind of stuff. But, so yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I learned with time management is to do things in batches and to manage my energy more than anything, more than my time. See, Jason Carlton said lunch and learns are great. Make sure I didn't lose one. Robert said, yeah, lunch and learn have the right audience. Having the right audience is key. Not too many. Don't overdo it. Yeah, we're talking about this Wednesday. Having a small group, especially as you're starting to get, as you get your feet wet with lunch and learns, 10 or 15 people is great. You can really have intimate one-on-one conversations with people. We're going to be talking a lot more about this, I think, on next week's show, the Not an MSP show as well, about some creative ways to do marketing that really can let you as small, nimble MSPs, small entrepreneurs, be able to elevate and move yourself into a new realm of possibilities when it comes to marketing. But I think, again, that's a lot of people get stuck in that, I don't know how to do it. I'm afraid of it, so I'm not going to do it. But yeah, Jason said lunch and learns are great in 10 to 20 minutes. Yeah, I mean, that's generally what we did. We got longer as we went along as well. by the end, we were actually doing about 2 hours. So we were doing a first part presentation, then we would have lunch, and then we had a second speaker after lunch, which we started using our clients. We had a lot of attorneys that were clients, so we got our clients involved and did a co-managed lunch and learn. We did all the work, had the setup for it. All they had to do was show up and present, but it was a great way for them to invite their user list, their prospects to, or their customers to get education on technical stuff. And our customers, my prospects, got educated on legal stuff. So it worked out tremendously. And the first one we did with one of our biggest law firms, they absolutely loved it. And they were like, yes, we want to do a bunch more of these. So they started writing articles for my newsletter that I sent out to my prospects. So there's a number of different ways that, lunch and learns can really, make you different and elevate from the normal bottom of the barrel marketing that's out there. Jake said, yep, lunch and learn. He's done them across a variety of industries and roles. Items I've found, give your big idea, point, etc. in the middle. Yeah, for sure. You got to hook them to stick around. It's kind of like a YouTube video. First 10 minutes, everybody's settling in. Last 10 or 15, they're moving on to the next meeting or task. But yeah, that's what you want to make sure that they stick around. That's why we always had the attorneys present second, because people always wanted to stick around for, especially the legal stuff. When they got into case law, things like that, that's the stuff that really interested in our business owners and our other, like our property management clients. They were interested in how the legal ramifications of doing technology or not doing technology, not having certain things in place as far as like a acceptable use policy for one. That's one of the things we made sure all of our customers had that as a template, and we recommended that they go to their attorney and have that, finalized for their specific business. But yeah, having an attorney talk about the case law of businesses being sued because they don't have those documents in place and opening themselves up to legal liability. Again, one of those very simple things, but we did have some of our customers in the audience as well. So they got the reassurance that they were taken care of because we'd already done that for them. But yeah, lunch and learns were a great way to do that. Jake said, yeah, then always keep it simple, but keep a public parking lot. Yeah, we talked about that on Wednesday too. Make sure there's plenty of parking. Oftentimes that leads to another lunch and learn or business growth opportunity. It always did. We signed clients out of every single lunch and learn that we did. And it was not a heavy sale. It wasn't like a lot of lunch and learns you go to where it's just everything is a sales pitch. I did it more of service education, but we always managed to get customers out of it. And again, the benefit are our clients that presented as well. They got customers out of it, so they were super psyched. So it was, a win-win for everybody. Jake said, another item that's been beneficial, go across customer types. Yeah, often someone asks a question from an angle half the audience had never thought of before. Yeah, that's why I, definitely recommend, inviting people of different industries. And everybody likes a free meal. I mean, we didn't go extraordinary. We provided the space. Trying to think of the name of the place we used. It was actually just like kind of a sandwich shop that was local to Columbus that we had used. But yeah, it was a great way to generate business. Jake said also cross marketing with your clients for the win. Yeah, it was. Nobody's going to give a testimonial about your business better than your current customers. And that's why we always invited some of our current customers to join us for free. We got fed lunch. They got to learn something. But the awesome side effect from that is people that are prospects or aren't doing business with you, our customers actually sold how good we were at what we do to those people in the audience. So we didn't have to do any hard selling. And like I said, just having them there in the audience was a great way to reinforce that we're doing a good job for them. And it was a great way for them to tell other people about us right there in the audience. But yeah, there's so many benefits of doing lunch and learns that, yeah, I could talk for days on that. The reason I brought it up too, and the reason I did this survey, is I'm going to be updating. I had done a lunch and learn course for the Tech Tribe. It's been a couple years ago. But now that we're back to more in-person meetings and those are becoming more the norm, people are comfortable being back in audiences. I'm probably going to be redoing that session. So those of you who are in Team Orange are going to get that first. But yeah, again, you're going to have the full checklist of how to do a lunch and learn. Everything I learned from, we probably put on 20 or 30 lunch and learns during the 10 years I ran my MSP. But how to use LinkedIn to get people to show up. That was another one. That's kind of where my process and system with LinkedIn started, was from that effort, trying to get people to come to our lunch and learn. And yeah, there's super easy ways of doing that and building an audience of people that know, like, and trust you over time. But yeah, it's a phenomenal way. Anybody else? Like I said, it looks like a bunch more people just joined us over on LinkedIn. Say hello in the comments. Let me know you're here. And also, just let me know whether or not you've done lunch and learns, or what might be stopping you from doing a lunch and learn, or just any questions at all about business, tech, whatever. Happy to hang out for a few more minutes before we jump off for this Friday afternoon. Let me know if this is the first time you've joined us as well. I didn't ask that at the beginning. I know, Jake, you've been on before. Robert's been on here before. Yeah, we're just starting something new on 2023, doing these Friday jam sessions. Just jam out, talking about business, life, whatever. A few more people have joined us. Say hello in the chat. Let me know you're here. Another question that I got on about LinkedIn this week. Switch screens here. Hopefully I don't jack this up too bad. Is what to put on your personal profile on LinkedIn. One of the side benefits, by the way, if you can't see here, if you do live streaming and somebody comes to your LinkedIn profile while you're doing a live stream, that top banner will actually be the live stream. So we're going to go into like infinity mode here in a second as the screen shoots up. But yeah, just a few things. One of the biggest things that people miss, but if you want to do live streaming, you want to make sure you turn on creator mode. So if I go into creator mode, you can add topics and hashtags things you talk about. But a couple things that you get access to when you turn on creator mode is LinkedIn Live. So they've fixed that process where you had to apply for it before and then you had to maybe get turned down. I think I got turned down like 3 or 4 times back in 2019 before they finally let me in. But yeah, you can, once you turn on creator mode, usually within a day or two, you'll get access to LinkedIn Live. You can also do audio events. I've not done any of those. I might try that out. So think like Clubhouse. I don't even know if Clubhouse is even around. Does anybody ever use Clubhouse? I've never used it. But you have access to audio events, newsletters, and different follow tools that will show up on your profile as well. So yeah, definitely want to turn on creator mode, because the other thing that you'll get access to, you'll have more of the things in your activity feed will show up. So things that you're posting about, more of that will show up. But one of the big ones that I got a question on this week was this section here, the About section in your LinkedIn profile. A lot of people don't know what to put in here, and it's a huge lost opportunity to build know, like, and trust, and to build a more of a personal connection with people. But my recommendation here is this is your opportunity to tell your origin story. Maybe if you're running a business, especially if you're an MSP, how did you get started? What is your background? Allow me to connect with you on a personal level. And this is your chance to be able to tell a story about how you got in business, who you serve, what things make you happy, and, again, who you actually help in business. Then I've also included some personal stuff. I know, Jake, big surprise to all of you, I'm a fan of Orange. But it always brings up conversations when I connect with people. Those are usually the first things people want to know about. One is, what's the Orange all about? The other one here is I've been running businesses since I was 8 years old. So people are always curious about that. They want to have conversations about that. But this is your opportunity to build curiosity and be a real person. And this is where a lot of people miss that. And I did it for a long time, especially when at my tech company, I just buried so much technical stuff in here. Technical terms and acronyms. Thought it was cool, but your customers don't care. Your prospects don't care. So make it personal. Be a real person when you set up your LinkedIn profile. But that section right there is a huge opportunity. This is what I look for when I connect with people. I look for things that I can have conversations about with them. Your prospects, people that you connect with on LinkedIn, will be wondering the same thing. So that's what they want to know. So that's your opportunity to do that. So don't forget those two things. Those are a couple of missed opportunities, if you will, of turning on creator mode, getting started with live streaming, newsletters, and that About section on your LinkedIn profile. A lot of people miss that. It takes a little bit of work. And again, I'm constantly working that over and, updating it so it's not etched in stone. You have the ability to go and change it. But version 1.0 is better than version 0.0. You'll hear me say that. So we've all heard done is better than perfect. I'm finally getting over those perfectionist tendencies and just getting things done. That's what I'm all about. Anyway, we're about 1:35 today here in the afternoon. If you have any other questions, I'm going to hang out for a couple more minutes and then drop off of here because I do have a office hour session with our Team Orange community. If you want to know what Team Orange is all about, and if you're interested in maybe getting a private coaching or being part of a coaching group, this is what Team Orange is. So if you go to orangenomad.com and then go under Uncoaching and Team Orange Community, I do a whole walk around as to what the Team Orange community is. But one of the things we do on Fridays is we usually do an office hours or a co-working session. So we got lots of things going on. Additional trainings that we're going to be doing this year. All of those are going to be included in a private community that is not a Facebook group. It is a private community that I run on Orange Nomad. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. Lots of different questions come up every single week. Again, we'll see what questions come up today. We got a couple of members that are looking to get into live streaming and building out courses for themselves and their customers. So we'll probably be talking a little bit about nerding out on geek stuff this afternoon. But yeah, thanks, Jake, for hanging out with me. Tell Kathy we said hi, and yes, we are going to have to catch up very, very soon. Who else was joining? Jason Carlton, Robert, Danny, thank you guys for showing up live this afternoon. Appreciate having you live. And those of you who happen to watch this on the replay, thank you for sharing your earbuds with me, watching these replays over on LinkedIn and YouTube. But if you have questions about anything in the future you want me to cover on these streams or others that we're going to be doing throughout the year, let me know. But yeah, definitely look for that. We're going to be updating our Lunch and Learn training. Probably be doing a lot on that because I think, like I said, it's a missed opportunity that people have, and it's a great way to build a community inside of your network. I think it's a great way to educate people. So, no, thank you, Danny, for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. You have a good weekend as well, my friend. Trying to think. We're probably going to do another jam session next week, but I think I am going to have to cut off a little bit early, probably like 1:30 next week, because a private accountability group has asked me to speak to their group, so I'll be doing that next Friday at 2:00 as well. But yeah, we'll probably do a shorter jam session next week. But again, thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate everybody who tunes in, asks questions. What it's all about. And again, if you want to check out Epidemic Sound, like the jams, it's like $10 a month. And again, you get unlimited music for all of your videos, your live streams, your podcasts. Super cheap. Lots of good music over there. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it for me. Thanks for hanging out live with me. Those of you who tune in every single week, like Robert, appreciate you. And we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend, folks.